In a world constantly demanding more attention, more movement, more achievement, there's something quietly radical about choosing less. Less noise, less urgency, less distraction. That is where Aflame begins, not in a dramatic moment of crisis, but in a slow, almost imperceptible unraveling. The kind of spiritual exhaustion that doesn't announce itself loudly, but creeps into every corner of a life lived on autopilot. Pico Iyer, a seasoned traveler and celebrated essayist, has spent decades moving through the world, airports, cultures, crowds, stories. And yet, despite all his worldly insight, he finds himself spiritually adrift. There's an emptiness, a restlessness, that no new destination can fill. It's then that he decides to do something profoundly simple and profoundly difficult. He retreats into silence, into stillness, into the austere calm of a remote Japanese monastery where the outer world recedes and the inner world begins to speak. The monastery is not a glamorous place. It's not Instagram-worthy. There are no spa days or healing retreats. There is only discipline, simplicity, and quiet. The days are slow. The routines are repetitive. Iyer sweeps floors, eats in silence, folds blankets. But this, he begins to understand, is the very point. Without noise, without clutter, we finally meet ourselves. And that encounter is both uncomfortable and transformative. At first, the silence is deafening. His thoughts, no longer drowned out by distraction, rise like smoke, memories, regrets, doubts, fears. He finds that beneath the busyness of modern life is a core of unanswered questions. Who am I when I'm not performing? What do I truly value? What have I been too busy to grieve? But slowly, the silence shifts. It becomes less of a void and more of a presence. A living, breathing space where truths can bloom. In this quiet, Iyer begins to feel the flicker of something ancient and alive within him. Not religious dogma, not sudden enlightenment, but a flame, steady, small, persistent. A spiritual warmth that comes not from belief, but from attention, from presence, from being here, now, without needing to chase or fix or explain. Aflame is about that flame, that inner spark so many of us forget in the pursuit of external success. It's not a story of renunciation or rigid spirituality. Rather, it's an invitation to reclaim a deeper kind of living, one rooted in awareness, in humility, in enoughness. The monastery is merely the setting. The real journey takes place within. As the days pass, Iyer begins to see how silence doesn't isolate, it connects. It connects him to nature, the sound of wind against paper doors, the feel of bare feet on tatami mats. It connects him to memory. Quiet as bring back voices he had forgotten, emotions he had avoided. Most of all, it connects him to something eternal, a sense of being part of a vast and gentle rhythm that hums beneath the surface of everything. The teachings he encounters are simple but profound. That the ego is loud, but the soul is quiet. That most of what we chase is a distraction from the discomfort of just being. That stillness isn't about withdrawal, but about deepening our participation in life. When Iyer finally leaves the monastery, he does so changed, not with all the answers, but with a different kind of strength. A quiet strength, the kind you carry, not wear. He returns to the modern world, but now sees it with clearer eyes. The noise is still there, the chaos still churns, but he's no longer swept away by it. He's anchored, and perhaps, most importantly, he knows how to return to that silence. Not by escaping to mountaintops or distant temples, but in the spaces between breaths, in a pause before reacting, in the act of truly listening to others, to the world, to the self. Aflame is a spiritual memoir, a meditation, and a mirror. It's for anyone who feels frayed by modern life, for those who are constantly on, but wonder why they still feel unfulfilled, for seekers, for skeptics, for those yearning to remember what matters most beneath all the noise. This book doesn't shout. It whispers. It invites you to slow down, to sit, to listen, not for answers, but for the questions you didn't know you needed to ask. Because sometimes the deepest spiritual awakening comes not with fireworks, but with stillness. With one breath, one flame, one moment of profound silence. Headphone, if this story stirred something in you, let it stay lit. Return to it, share it, and maybe take a little silence with you wherever you go. More stories of quiet transformation are on the way.